What is up? We are here at Read, Rant, and Review with a book for boys, finally. This one and the next one are definitely going to be in that book for boys category. Okay, so let's read the back. Hello everyone, yes, we're still doing Let's Read the Back this way. I apologize. Not that much. Alright, let's talk about this. I'm going to read the back and do something I don't normally do, which is pick it apart as we go, but this is just like such false advertising that I have to point it out to you. At 14, Nick Gautier thinks he knows everything about the world around him. Not really. Streetwise, tough, and savvy, his quick sarcasm is the stuff of legends. The sarcasm in this book is shitty and frequently falls flat. I suppose maybe in his own head it's the stuff of legends. Until the night his best friends, they're not his best friends, we only see them once, try to kill him. Saved by a mysterious warrior who has more fighting skills than Chuck Norris. We get to see him fight once, so I'm a little dubious about this claim. Nick is sucked into the realm of dark hunters, immortal vampire slayers who risk everything to save humanity. I imagine they slay vampires, I don't think they actually do in this book. Nick quickly learns that the human world is only a veil for a much larger and more dangerous one. A world where the captain of the football team is a werewolf. That's true. And the girl he has a crush on goes out at night to stake the undead. Not really true. She never really does anything terribly badass. This makes her sound like Buffy. She's not. But before he can even learn the rules of this new world, his fellow students are turning into flesh-eating zombies. Kinda. And he's next on the menu. Sorta. As if starting high school isn't hard enough. Now Nick has to hide his new friends from his mom, his chainsaw from the principal, and keep the zombies and the demons see me from eating his brains, all without getting grounded or suspended. I guess kind of. How in the world is he supposed to do that? So there you have the back of the book, which promises something very different from what we receive. I understand that when you write a book, you want to make the back sound really enticing, but I don't feel like you should lie. And some of the things in this are just lies. Some of them are exaggerations, but some of them don't even happen. Yeah. Alright, back to your regularly scheduled review. Okay, so a little bit of background. Sometimes I like to give you a little bit of background. The author of this book writes mostly books for adults, set in the same world that this book is set in. And this book was sort of, I guess, intended to be a companion, like a young adult companion to those books. For some reason, I feel like money may have been involved, as she realized that YA books are popular right now, and so she better write one. But it was a bad decision, I feel. You'll find out why. All I can say is I hope that her books for adults are better. So like 2 seconds into this book, I'm already looking for my tiny violin because this main character is the most pathetic sad sack you will ever meet. His mom is a dancer with a heart of gold. He is extremely poor. He is a scholarship kid that goes to a rich kid's school, and all the bullies hate him. His life sucks, but he respects his mama. It's important. What I want to know is, like, in all of these books, the main character is a scholarship kid at a rich kid's school. Can't he ever just be a poor kid at a poor school? Like, you either have normal kid going to normal school, or poor kid going to rich kid's school. Can't we just have poor kid goes to poor kid's school? just to see what that's like. I'm sure there's lots of bullies there too. So this book is set in New Orleans, and for a few minutes I got excited because I thought maybe this meant that we could have a main character of color. Unfortunately, no, he's white. In fact, most of the characters in this book are white. The only people who I can tell are black are a voodoo priestess and possibly some criminals. That's kind of not okay. But whatever, lady. So the main character of this book is essentially Aladdin without any of the charm, because he is this poor put-upon diamond in the rough who just, you know, snarks and clevernesses his way out of every situation. Yeah. But then zombies showed up and my enjoyment level rose slightly. Although I have to say that everybody in his school is really calm about one of their classmates literally attacking and chewing on another classmate. Everybody's like, did you hear about so-and-so? Yeah, he was chewing on so-and-so. Weird. Okay, this book completely fails at building a main character. Especially since the author has decided that he is going to be a nerd. He is going to be into things like video games and manga. Notice the quotations, because clearly this author does not know anything. It's made by Nintendo, but if you call something a Nintendo, those of us who actually play video games are probably going to picture a Nintendo or some sort of gaming system by them. Game Boy does not immediately pop into my head. Also, this main character, up until the point where he gets the Nintendo, claims to love video games and makes all these video game references, but he is so poor, they do not own a TV, they don't even own a phone. He has no friends because he is a sad sack. How does he know about video games? Where is he playing them? Who is he talking about them with? I don't buy that he knows all these video game terms and stuff, because there's obviously no way that he can play any of them, and he's certainly not subscribing to any gaming magazines with all the money he doesn't have. I call bullshit. The author seems to have also Googled games with zombies in them, come up with Resident Evil, and decided that that was the only game she would ever reference about games with zombies in them. The biggest problem with all of this is that the author chooses to tell, not show, about our character. She keeps insisting that he's into video games and manga, but we never really get to see him enjoying those things. Eventually he does get to play the Nintendo a couple of times, but you never even find out what game he's playing. It's usually just used to tell you that he's like in a quiet place and he thinks about other stuff while he plays the game. So why is he even playing it? You never see him read manga, it's just mentioned that he likes it. Show, don't tell, authors. This is so important when you're building your world and you're building a character. I will say the one thing I do like about this main character is he really doesn't trust people, and I dig that because so often main characters are like, what, stranger? Yeah, okay, if you say so, I'm totally the chosen one. And this kid's like, fuck nah, get out of here, I don't believe you. It gets a little old after a while. After a while you want to be like, oh, can you just believe someone so we can get on with this book? But I do like that distrustfulness in a main character. So Nick is apparently 14, but he talks, he acts about 17. Why is he 14? I don't know. In this book, the viewpoint character changes constantly, and it is super confusing to realize whose head you're in. Like, there's nothing. You're just like bam, 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 in between all these characters and knowing what they're thinking for a few minutes, and then you're in a different character, and I didn't like it. It was really confusing. There are also a lot of characters in this book, and if you're constantly switching between all of these characters, most of the time you have no idea what's even going on. But hey, at least when characters get hurt, it sticks around. I mean, at least when the main character gets hurt. He gets hurt early in the book and it stays until the end. I'm not entirely certain what purpose this serves, but it serves, I guess, to show that injuries mean something. Okay, is the main character a badass ex-football player or a snarky loner nerd? Because he seems to be both, but never at the same time, and neither of them very well. Also, the bully in this book is a Stephen King bully, the sort of bully who will go out of his way to not only harass you, but like physically torture you. Like, I know that there are some bullies like that in the world, but like this guy is like a laser pointer focused on his prey. He's like a lion on the savannah. And it's like, I don't believe you. Come on, bullies pick on at least a few other people. Most bullies can multitask. All of the bad guy characters in this, not just the bully, are just bad. And I keep thinking that we're meeting a bad guy and he turns out to be a good guy. There are a lot of good guys in this book. But like the bad guys are just like, yep, we're the evil. The evil is here. Time for you to defeat us, chosen one. And yes, this is a classic chosen one story. Our main character is the special. And I am getting so sick of those, you guys. So all the characters in this book are strangely, I would call it misogynistic, and I feel like it's maybe because the female author thinks that men think this way. First of all, whenever a woman walks into a room, all of the guys have to take a moment to appreciate how sexy she is. Boobs, legs, that kind of thing. And also, like at first I thought it was just the main character, and I was almost fine with that because it gave him a personality trait. He is really concerned that the women in his life be protected, be away from the danger, get my mom out of here, get my girlfriend out of here. They're girls, they can't handle the danger. And I was like, well, if that's just his character, okay, maybe he's just like that. But every single character is like that, even the ones who should be like, no, some of these girls can kick ass. Except for like this one random girl who I think just kind of counts as a boy with a vagina. Because she gets to kick ass, but she doesn't really get a character, so I don't know. It's like a male character that was switched to female because it was a sausage fest. I don't know. But in general, all of the characters in this book feel that women's belong away from the danger, and they ought to also be sexy and white. Sexy. This book actually kind of feels like two different stories. One of the stories being the main character's nerdy friend, main character's nerdy guy that he knows, creates this video game which turns many of the jocks in the school into zombies, voodoo-style zombies. And that is kind of actually a cool story. I would read that. But more prominent than that is the classic story of the male Mary Sue coming into magical powers. And it sort of alternates between the two stories, and honestly, I don't care about the second one there at all. And I barely care about the nerdy boy making zombies. That's how bad this book is written. This book is written very poorly. I don't even care about the zombies. That's how bad this has gotten. The narrative, like the viewpoint character, was all over the place in this book. There was barely a consistent through story. I didn't understand. I feel like now that I know that this is like a companion to some other books, that you're just supposed to know what's going on. But if you're coming at it as like reading the first book in a series, because you know this is the first book in a series, for young adults, it's not an adult book, you should not be expected to have read the author's other works, especially since those are adult books, and if you're a teenager, you probably want to read the young adult book, the book for you. Along with being slightly sexist, the author really wants us to understand that all of our characters are afraid of the gay. Nobody is gay. They all like women. They all like boobies. This book is just kind of insulting on several different levels. After a while, I just started skimming because this book is so shit. I didn't even mention the main character's love interest because she is so cardboard. She just like disappears for the middle of the book so he can pine after her. But then she reappears in time for the final battle, wherein she is like, I believe in you, boy who I love, and then she gives him this movie tongue kiss in the middle of a zombie battle. I'm like, bitch, you do not have time for a movie kiss. Zombies are chewing on your leg. But no, the main character has to be rewarded with titties. So at the end of the book, the main character learns a moral lesson, because you gotta have those, and the lesson is the eye-rolling one of like, I am better than them, I will not let them draw me down to their level, they will all be miserable in the end while I will be happy with my moral superiority. Except that I don't think any of the bad guys, like the bully character, were all that miserable. So, good for you, I guess, making yourself feel better there, Nick. I mean, I suppose the message of don't get back at the bullies, be more morally superior, take the high ground, is an okay one to teach teenagers. I will give it that. The way that it was done made me want to kick babies, but the lesson itself is okay. Oh, and then our hero tortures the bully character. So much for our taking the moral high ground there, buddy. And then we have an epilogue instead of a final chapter for absolutely no reason. Writing. Learn to do it. So yeah, that was Infinity, the Chronicles of Nick. Anything called the Chronicles of Nick makes me raise an eyebrow. The Chronicles of main character's name should always be suspicious of books like that, I feel. Yeah, this book was crap. But for now, I will see you all later out there in Bookland, where I hope you're enjoying reading far better books than the one I just talked about. See you later.